Welcome back to Higurashi. So, like I said last time, this time we're actually going to start by taking a look at the characters, or rather, talking about my thoughts on all the characters. Because we've gotten to know them a bit better by this point, so I feel like we've gotten a look at everybody's kind of personality. So, let's start with our main character. We've got Keiji Maibara. I actually like Keiji. I think that he is he's a good protagonist so far. Like, he's a little bit cliche, but I feel like this came out so long ago that kind of the elements of him that are cliche probably were not quite as cliche back then. But anyway, the thing I like about him is that he's really inquisitive, which is a good quality to have for a protagonist in a mystery story. And I know this isn't quite as hardcore of a mystery as Umineko, or so I've been told anyway, but it's still got mystery elements, which it definitely shows so far, and the way that Keiji has been handling that by asking the right questions, even if it might get him into trouble later, which I have a feeling it will. I like that he's just not letting details fly by him, and he's actually paying attention to everything, you know. Next we've got Reina, who seems to be like the focal character of Onikakushi. I don't have too much to say about Reina, but I feel like it's definitely worth being cautious of her for a few reasons. One of the main reasons is, well, number one, she's the focal character of this arc, I guess you would call it. She, like, her picture is all over the cover, and her voice was the one doing the narration and that little monologue earlier about how there was like a murder born from the desire to believe, I believe it was. So she's definitely important to this. I don't know if that will necessarily mean that she's going to be a person who kills, but from that monologue, it sounded definitely like that was what was going on. And I feel like, as she's shown in the games that she's played so far, she's definitely a frightening opponent to play against. She is very, like, I'm not going to say deceptive, because I feel like she doesn't intentionally deceive, but the kind of like the cute, innocent demeanor that she puts up, whether it's real or not, which I have a feeling it probably mostly is real, I feel like it causes people to let their guard down, and that's something that we have to be aware of, especially for Keiji. I feel like that's something that could definitely be dangerous to him. Next, we've got Satoko. Satoko I don't really feel too much towards. I mean, I feel that she has kind of displayed herself to be a little bit hot-headed, a little bit, I guess you could say arrogant, maybe? Like, she doesn't, I don't know, it feels like she's not the main threat here. Like, I feel like while she's definitely someone to watch out for, she kind of, like, wears her aggression on her sleeve, you know? Like, if she was out to get you, you would know it, I feel, is the idea behind her. So, I'm not too worried about her doing anything right now, but that could change depending on how she acts, because I feel like she's really bad at hiding her emotions. She's really bad at hiding her poker face and all that. So, next up, we've got Mion, who last time I said she was my favorite character. And she's still up there. I still like her a lot. And it was mainly because she's kind of like really crafty, really clever, and I like that aspect of her. In fact, pretty much like an instant cheat sheet to just like determine who my favorite character in something is going to be is just who is the smartest. That's almost always going to be that character. But in this case, it turns out that another character has surpassed Mion in that respect. I feel like Rika has actually. I feel like she's actually the craftiest and the most conniving of all the characters, and she's definitely going to be like the #1 character to watch out for, like of everyone we know. I also feel like she's actually probably the smartest, and she's only like 10 or 11 years old or whatever right now. So like I can only imagine how deadly she could be, or how crafty she could be. I mean, we've already seen kind of a glimpse of that in Umineko, of how much better she can be, like given some time. So I feel like, yeah, we have to watch out for her, and she's probably my favorite character so far, with Mion as a second place. So next we've got Tomitake, and he's definitely very, very suspicious. I feel like the fact that he mentioned that he was in town when the original event happened, and with the dam, I feel like the fact that he said that means that it's either a hint or it's a red herring that is supposed to indicate that he might have been involved in that. But I feel like he's still pretty suspicious. Like, the fact that he said something about, like, I have no right to be here, I feel like, or no right to live here, I feel like that might have something to do with, like, him feeling regret or remorse over something that he did in the past. And, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about him for now. But there's also another character. There's the woman who was standing next to him, who I actually went back and looked, and I'm 90% sure. Do not tell me if I'm wrong, because I'll find out eventually, but I'm like 90% sure that this character is the same character that we met in the second chapter when we were out with Mion and Reina, and she ran into Maibeta, and she kind of introduced herself a little bit, or, well, she didn't really say much, but we got a little bit of an introduction to her from Reina, who said that her name is actually Mio, and she is a nurse at the clinic, and the reason why I think that it's definitely her, not only did her voice actually sound pretty similar, but and I even remarked on her voice at the time. Like I said, she sounded a bit like Ava's voice actress, which I'm not sure if it's actually her, but it's definitely a voice actress I've heard before. Definitely one that's probably in Umineko, but I don't know necessarily who. But anyway, yeah, the detail that stood out to me was that one of her hobbies is, aside from bird watching, is also photography, which, I mean, it makes sense that she would be hanging around with Tomitake, because he's a photographer. So if she's into photography, it makes sense that, you know, she has a photographer friend. So I'm like 90% sure that is her, that is Mio. But it's also possible that that's just a random character who happened to share a voice actress with her, and we don't actually need to care about that. The fact that her name was not mentioned at all, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure we've already met her, I feel like that makes her a bit more suspicious. Like, it makes it seem like that name is actually going to be important, and that they're going to kind of reward people who remember that little detail by making that actually something important. So, and that's how I feel anyway. Anyway, we have a bunch of tips to read, so let's check those out, shall we? We'll start with Hojo Couple's Falling Incident. From the June 1980 edition, on the afternoon of XX at 2 p.m., office employee That and his wife This of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of what I'm presuming to be the husband at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the two leaned on had broken, causing them to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to the facility deterioration, and if park maintenance was performed properly. Okay, so we don't actually know the result of that questioning. It might turn out that actually park maintenance was not performed properly, and that might have actually been intentional sabotage, but they just didn't have enough evidence to prove it or something. I don't know. One thing I wanted to mention, that I had the idea last time. This is kind of like an idea that I got from Umineko, but if we're going to be talking about the supernatural here, and all these like cursed things that happened, I feel like we kind of might be coming at this from a different angle here. In the sense that, like, in Umineko it's stated that magic only works as a way of, like, an alternate way of explaining things that could happen without magic. But I feel like in this case, there are things that are happening without magic that could easily be just explained as coincidences, but that could also be explained in a supernatural way. And I feel like that duality, or whatever, is kind of important to the setting. I don't know. I feel like that might come into play, but I feel like I might be like way overthinking that and like combining the two visual novels in ways that I shouldn't be. It's probably not worth thinking about it in that way, but it's just an idea I had. Anyway, the terminal illness death of Shinto priest Furude. Also, it didn't mention their names in this article, but it says it right here, Hojo. So, there we go. So, for this one, if it doesn't mention the name, we should probably just insert the name Furude there, wherever we can. From the June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of that day, around 10 p.m. in the X-district of Hinamizawa village, in Chichibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after his death, his wife went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search, however, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onigafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they've run into difficulties. So they never actually found the body, did they? Or maybe they did and that newspaper is just a bit outdated. Because from the information we got from Tomitake and his friend, it seems like they did find out that she drowned herself in the swamp. So next we've got the housewife murder. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Wow. Alright, that's it. Well, in that case, there we go. That's very interesting, though, that they have an entire tip here for the fact that it was not reported in the newspaper. I wonder if there's a reason for that. I don't know. But let's check this radio log. I don't know what this is going to be.
はい、了解です。ああ、応援も到着しました。先に写真撮らせた方がいいんじゃないですか。外車もう無駄だと思いますし。
Interesting. I'm not sure what information we can glean from that. Maybe the fact that the doctor was there and wanted to carry the body away? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a detail that we can keep at the back of our minds, but like the doctor definitely like makes me think of the nurse. I already forget her name. Kiyo-san, was it? Or Mio-san? Mio-san. Yeah. The nurse, Mio-san. I don't know. The doctor makes me think of that, but I don't know. Not much to think there. Anyway, let's go on with the chapter.
Kei-chan, 昨日はお疲れ様。ミオンこそお疲れさんな。昨日は楽しかったぜ。
Oh, so is this the day after the festival? Oh yeah, of course they're gonna show us the day after, because if something happened, we have to find out about it, right? So.
そうそう。ケイチ君、本当にありがとね。クマさん。
気に入ってもらえて嬉しいぜ。裁縫針とか刺したりするのに使うなよ。
しないよ、そんなこと。
Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. Of course. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately my foot stepped right into it. You can't let your guard down.
あら、朝から雑巾がけとは熱心でございますわね。
What was that noise? Him like hitting her?
ケイチさんがデコピンした。
Thanks for the play-by-play there.
今度はもっと凶悪な罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
Jeez, see, like, Rika is, like, ruthless. Seeing that, Reina began to swoon as Mion looked on in disbelief. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there, and nothing felt out of place. You know, I just had a thought, but what if that radio log that we just saw, what if that was actually from the festival yesterday, and it wasn't actually from the husband and wife murder or whatever? That would be an interesting thing to think about. The uncertainties I'd had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished.
どうしたの、ケイチ君。ひょっとして寝不足かな。
バッチリ爆睡したよ。なんなら授業中にも実演するぜ。
ダメだよ、そんなの。
Mion alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats.
皆さん、おはようございます。
Oh, there we go. That's a new character. So we now have a name and face for our teacher. Although, actually, we don't have a name yet, but we have a face.
昨日はお祭りでしたね。最後まで後片付けに参加した人たちは本当にお疲れ様でした。
We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Although I imagine Rika probably did, since she was involved with the festival and all that. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus.
さて、この時期にはお祭りの取材で遠くから雑誌なんかの取材の方が見えたりします。
I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was gonna tune it out, but then I noticed the different tone in her voice and started paying attention.
皆さんが取材を受けることがあるかもしれませんが、曖昧なことやいい加減なことは言わないように。いいですね。
In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am." What she'd said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. Basically, she's saying don't give any ammo for like potential like tabloids to start rumors about curses and all that. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding their curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. And now, I was one of those who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing Yeah, that wasn't happening.
今日は本格派の推理ゲームでいこう。こんなのはどうかな。
お、海外もののゲームか。面白そうだな。
説明書も英語ですけどね。
Oh, are they actually talking about Clue?
ルールはそう難しくはありませんのよ。負けないからね。僕はこのゲーム苦手じゃないですよ。
It seemed that Reina didn't handle this kind of game very well.
ルールはね、事件の犯人と凶器、あと犯行現場の3つを当てられた人が勝ち。
Oh boy, I feel like this is going to be full of foreshadowing. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see the names Mion and Rika were written on suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well.
凶器のカードにもいろいろ種類があるな。斧やらナイフやら毒物やら。犯行現場のカードも渋いぞ。
I mean, it's always Colonel Mustard. I mean, come on.
リビングやら書斎やら中庭やら。
つまりね、これらのカードが1枚ずつ抜かれるの。それが正解のカードで、残ったカードはシャッフルしてみんなで等分。互いに手持ちのカードを質問し合って、抜かれた正解のカードが何かを探るわけ。
Ah, I see. So, the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators.
それで答えが分かったら挙手。ゲームを終了して答えが正しいかを確認。正解なら勝ちで1ポイント、外れていればマイナス1ポイント。正解してもしなくてもゲーム終了だから、カードは集めて仕切り直しってわけ。
So that's all pretty standard so far, but I wonder what kind of twist is gonna be on it, because I feel like all of their games have some kind of like really like meta element to them, which they might just play it straight this time because they want to introduce the player to the idea of like deducing things, but I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of wrinkle in this.
やってみればわかるでございますわ。結構頭を使うでございますわよ。メモを取りながらじゃないと混乱しますです。
It's almost like they're talking to the player right now. Like, you better take notes or you're gonna get confused in this game. I think I'll be fine. I have all I have the entire visual novel so far recorded in video.
あとはやって覚えるさ。で、ミオン。今回の罰ゲームは何だ？
そうだね。じゃあ昨日の疲れも多少あるだろうから、今日はソフトに使いっ走りの刑はどう？みんなからお使いを頼まれて、それを買いに走るってわけ。
つまりジュースとかお菓子とかを買いに行かされるんだね。今日の罰ゲームは簡単そうな気がしますです。
I wonder, is it really?
やはりケイチさんもそう思いますですの？
ああ、何を買いに行かされるかわからないからな。
I'm betting Neon would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out, so that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards.
じゃあ1番は部長の私から行くよ。イオン、ナイフ、書斎。
You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene, and ask the other players. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have.
あ、俺持ってるぜ。
レナもあるよ。僕も持ってますです。
Okay, so this is kind of like a process of elimination type game.
あら、完全な同志ですわね。
Three people answered when she asked if they had Neon, Knife, and Study. So that means that Neon and Knife and Study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down.
じゃあレナはね、レナ、オノ、ラウンジだよ。
I feel like these might all be like indications of what their preferred methods of murder might be. Like, if we find anybody stabbed by a knife, it might be Neon. If we find anybody, like, killed by an axe, it might be, Reina? I don't know. Only 2 people said they had one. So it means, out of Reina, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct, and is part of the crime. No, wait, even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards.
じゃあ次はケイちゃんだね。どうぞ。
待ってくれよ。まだ整理中。
The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's going to be tough.
よっしゃ、犯人確定。
何？もう？
Here I am spinning around in circles, and Mion now just raises her hand.
犯人はリカちゃん。凶器は毒物で、犯行現場は医務室。
Yeah, that does sound like something that she would use. Also, poison is definitely something to keep in mind when thinking about that one person who died of illness.
どう？
Mion drew the cards from the box, and we checked to see if her deduction was right.
正解だね。
あと一手だったですのに。毒物かピストルかわからなかったでございます。ピストルなんか使わないです。毒物でじわりじわりがいいのです。
Jesus. Well, there we go. Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. But I feel like that's almost definitely something to keep in mind, is like her potentially being responsible for the priest's murder. Because I feel like isn't she like, or her family, like she's relatives with one of the priests or something, right? Like something involving her family meant that she was the one responsible to do that thing at the festival. So I feel like she's definitely gonna be suspicious in that respect, but I don't know. She would have been like 9 years old at the time. Like, I can't really think of any reason why a 9-year-old would poison somebody. Rena and I were left out in the cold, though.
ケイチ君はどうだったかな。レナは全然。
安心しろ。俺もさっぱりだ。
二人とも何自信ないこと言ってんだか。二人仲良くビリになっちゃうよ。
That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple. What if we ended up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide?
ケイチはこのゲーム苦手そうな顔してますです。
全然そんなことはないぞ。次でシャーロック前原の実力を見せてやる。
それはいいですわね。徹底的に叩きのめして差し上げますわ。
After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. Oh, are you allowed to just lie and say that you have something when you don't? I feel like that might be cheating. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka.
あ、ごめん。ちょっとトイレ行ってくるな。
ゆっくりブリブリしておいで。
みーちゃん、それ下品。
I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over towards me.
ケイチ君、ひょっとしてレナのこと呼んだ？
ああ、読んだ。
As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked
時
out.
間の無駄なので担当直入に行く。レナ、お前の今日のゲームの過去の戦績は？
She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth.
全敗だよ。どうしてそんなこと聞くんだろう。
I could tell from how apprehensively she was
こ
playing.
のままでいくと俺もそうなる。今日のゲームは大逆転の秘策が思いつかない。
じゃあ今日の罰ゲームはケイチ君と一緒なのかな。
おいおい、早くも負けを受け入れるなよ。勝ちに行こうぜ。俺たちで。
でもどうやって？
I brought my lips up to Rena's ear.
そんなのありなのかな。
忘れたのかレナ。快速第2条だぞ。勝つために全ての努力をしよう。
頑張るよ。
Our plan of attack was a quite rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we'd need to investigate less.
この作戦なら他の連中よりも確実なリードを持って開始できる。
これなら今度こそ勝てそうだよ。
But everyone's gonna know what's up, especially Mion. She's gonna know that, like, the two just left the classroom. They're definitely planning something. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Reina was the corrupt senator. Huh. Pleasure doing business with you.
じゃあ早速戻ろうよ。二人で組んでみんなをあっと言わせちゃ
おいおい、二人で一緒に戻っちゃ意味ないだろう。いかにも打ち合わせしてきましたって感じだぞ。
あ、ごめん。じゃあどうしよう。
レナは先に戻れ。俺は洗面所で顔でも洗ってのんびりしてから戻る。
わかったね。
Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later, because both Rena and I would start winning over and over again. Both Rena and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all.
前原くん、ちょっといいですか？
It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good.
何ですか？今ちょっと大事な。
Oh, I hope that his parents are okay.
前原くんにお客さんがいらしてますよ。昇降口へ行ってください。
お客さん？俺別にお店なんか開いてないし。
待たせていますよ。早く行ってきなさい。
Right before my big match was pretty bad timing to have a visitor, but the very fact that someone was here to see me was strange enough to pique my interest. Like, literally the only thing that I could think that could be is somebody telling him that something happened to a family member or something, which is very concerning. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened, and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. He looks... well, we've never seen him before, I'm pretty sure.
前原さんですか？前原圭一さん。
But he looks kind of like a detective, if I had to guess. There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, it seemed I was fated to meet middle-aged men.
そうですよ。どちら様ですか？
私の車エアコンが効いてますから、そっちでお話しましょう。ここ暑くありません
？The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car, parked near the gate, and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get in his car with him.
だって食いやしません。どうぞどうぞ。
He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I don't know, he hasn't really introduced himself in any official capacity, so I would be pretty hesitant to get in his car. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at
冷え
least.
すぎだったら言ってくださいよ。私ガンガンに冷やしちゃうたちですから。
で、俺に何の用ですか？
Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me, and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking
こ
guy.
の男性のことでご存知のことがあったら教えてください。
Who the heck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV.
シャツにマジックで落書きがありましたね。
Oh. Oh god. Did Tomitake end up dead? And now they're questioning all the people whose names were written on his shirt.
前原さんをはじめクラスメート何人かの署名入りでした。
え？ これ富武さん？
There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face.
ではこちらの女性はわかりますか？
Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was.
名前は知りませんけど、ゆうべ富武さんと一緒にいた女の人です。
Yeah, that's definitely Mio-san. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know that she was a resident of Inamizawa.
この二人に最後に会ったのはいつですか？
綿流しのお祭りの晩、一緒に話をしました。二人とも仲良さそうでしたよ。
何か気になったこととかありませんか？何でも結構です。話してください。
Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now.
富武さんたちに何かあったんですか？
There was no response to my inquiry. Thus, I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Tomitake-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke again.
前原さんはまだこちらに越されてきたばかりですよね。ご存知ですかな？例のお社様の話は。
He should probably just say, like, I don't know what you're talking about, but... My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Yeah, there's no use.
全く知らない？知らないんなら結構なんですがね。
まあ、聞いたことくらいは富武さんに教えてもらったんですけど。
どの辺までご存知ですか？
The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that always happen, the day of the Wataganeshi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think that Tomitake-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. Although, if this guy isn't a cop, then he's basically just giving all this information to, like, someone who might be working for, like, a magazine or something. Which is exactly what his teacher told him not to do. No. Rather, I didn't want to think that there was anything more than that.
前原さんはそのタタリとかを信じていますか？率直なところで結構です。
信じてません。
My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling.
本当に？ならよかったです。やっぱり前原さんは都会育ちですね。
信じてなかったら何なんですか？俺、仲間を待たせてるんで、あまり時間取れないんですけど。
その写真の男性は昨晩お亡くなりになりました。
My mind went blank. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, what happened to Tomitake-san?
よりにもよってね、お亡くなりになられたのが昨日なんですよ。つまり、綿流しの当日。
I wonder if the woman who was with him also died, or if she's a suspect.
前原さんにはどういう意味があるのかわかりますよね。
意味って、意味なんか。
Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi. Meaning, this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again.
富武二郎さんがお亡くなりになられたことはまだ内緒です。どうしてかは なんとなくお分かりになりますよね。
I didn't want to understand why.
教えてください。一体何があったんですか？
得意なんですよ。ひなみ沢の方にはちょっと刺激の強い。
It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. Alright, let's hear it. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest.
第一発見は祭りの警備を終えて期間中のうちのワゴンでした。
This is where this is the same picture that showed for that radio log, so.
時刻は24時5分前。場所は、町へ出る道路がちょうど舗装道路に変わるところありますよね。坂を下り切ったあたりに、あそこの路肩でした。
There were few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomitake-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomitake-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt.
みんな初めはひき逃げされたものだと思っていました。ですが、意識を確かめるために近づいた警官はすぐに異常に気づきました。喉がね、引き裂かれていたんですよ。
Alright.
ナイフとか？
爪でした。
Nails. As in fingernails. You mean his neck was clawed through?
検視の結果、それも自分の爪でということが判明しました。
それってどういうことですか？
Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was suicide. Tomitake-san, whatever was going through his mind, tore open his own throat. Okay, right off the bat, that makes me think of poison, or some kind of, irritant that caused his throat to, become, unreasonably itchy or something, that just, he just felt the need to claw it out or something. As hard as he could with his own nails. But, how is that even possible? I don't think that's something that you could really do. You could certainly draw blood, but I don't think it would be enough to kill you. And I don't think you would have the strength to keep doing it enough to kill you. So there has to be some exterior force here. Tore through his own skin, tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Tomitake-san didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. So right off the bat, a nurse would definitely have access to drugs that could potentially cause something like that. Whether it's something like a painkiller or something that would give him the ability to do that without passing out, or some kind of drug that would make him prone to do that. I don't know. Still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that you should never damage, he continued clawing. Splurt. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed. His body spasmed and he died in agony. This is such an unrealistic way of dying. I don't think this is actually humanly possible. But I guess it might be possible with it depends on whether they want us to just suspend our belief or not, or whether this is actually something that we should be thinking about. That I'm sure characters are going to bring it up if it's actually something we should be thinking about. So, yeah.
薬物を疑いましたが、そういう類のものは検出できませんでした。
That's interesting, though. I would have thought the same thing, but that's clearly not the case. Like, they would have detected if it were. So was there maybe some way for, if we're going with our like, just straight off base theory here that Mio-san is the culprit, maybe she has some way to extract the drugs from him so that they don't actually leave any trace after causing this? I don't know. But this, it was a suicide. I've never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. Yeah, no kidding. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died. In these 5 years, his death most resembles that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomitake-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong.
他にもいくつか不審な点があります。体内分泌物、発汗、脱毛等から富武さんはお亡くなりになる直前、極度の興奮状態だったようなのです。
Well, yeah, he would have to be, but I don't know. I can't think of what could potentially allow for that to happen, unless we're just meant to just suspend our disbelief and assume that that's just humanly possible. That was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat.
手の傷と付近に落ちていた角材が一致しました。周囲の木やガードレールに叩いた後、周囲に散乱する富武さんの血痕。つまりですね。
Meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber, maybe as if to like fight off an attacker.
体からは本人によらない外傷がいくつか発見されました。富武さんは何者かに暴行を受けた可能性があるということです。外傷の部位から見て複数犯の可能性もあります。
Multiple suspects. I'm pretty sure that everyone who was with Keiichi had an alibi. So... But actually, I don't know. I feel like, Satoko and Rika do not have an alibi. And if it happened after Keiichi got home, then nobody has an alibi. To summarize, Tomitake-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died.
死亡推定時刻は21時から23時頃のようです。つまりお祭りで前原さんが富武さんとお話しして別れてからすぐの出来事なんですよ。
Everyone signed Tomitake-san's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that... Oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her?
行方不明です。出勤もしていませんし、昨夜は自宅にも帰っていません。事件に巻き込まれた可能性が極めて高いようです。
For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomitake-san was short, but we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. I can't believe I didn't pick up on all those death flags. Oh my god. Signing the shirt and everything, like, please come back and enjoy a festival again someday. Like, it's so obvious now in retrospect, but I didn't see it at all. He was one of us.
我々もあらゆる面から捜査を進めますが、村人たちはお社様のたたりの話になると とにかく口が重くなる。
That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomitake-san, the outsider, telling me.
だから俺なんですか？俺がひなみ沢の人間じゃないから。
I should have been angry that that was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me.
このままでは富武次郎さんはお社様のたたりで死んだことになってしまいます。
He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance.
綿流しの晩、神聖な儀式の時、無神経にカメラをバシャバシャやってたものだから、お社様の怒りに触れた。そう。
富武さんにお社様のバチが当たるわけがない。
Tomitake-san had to have been killed by humans, and a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm gonna let this end up being the fault of some curse.
私もそう思います。バチもたたりもあるわけがない。
The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh.
つまり、そういうことですよ。たたりを信じていないひなみ沢の方の協力が不可欠なのです。わかりますね。
Neither Tomitake-san nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomitake-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomitake-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomitake-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomitake-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama.
でも俺に協力できることなんかあの晩のことは何も知らないし。
いえいえ、何か気になるものを見たり聞いたりしたら教えてくださればいいんです。
If I see her here, he was talking in the future tense.
物でも人でも噂でも何でも結構です。不確かなもので構いませんから。これ、私の電話番号です。不在でしたら出たものに伝言してくだされば結構です。
He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then, whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter.
富武さんの無念を晴らすためにどうかご協力をお願いしたいのです。
Well, even if you learn something, you don't have to contact him. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face.
今日ここでした話はすべて内緒です。絶対に他言無用でお願いします。
わかりました。
お友達にも内緒です。特に園崎さんや古出さんには絶対に知られないようにしてください。
Come to think of it, Sonozaki, I'm pretty sure that's Mion, and Furude, that has to refer to Rika, right? Which would also make her pretty likely to be the one who killed the Furude priest. So, yeah.
園崎ってミオンのことか？なんでだよ。事件に関係あるっていうのかよ。
With my friends' names brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry.
捜査上の都合ということなんです。
煙に巻くなよ。ミオンは俺の大切な仲間だぞ。
I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended.
言ってもいいですが、気を悪くしないでくださいね。
言えよ。
He's gonna probably mention how Furude, or Rika, is actually a suspect probably in her either father or grandfather's murder. Some kind of relative of hers. I'm still not 100% clear on that yet. He hesitated a little, Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit.
南沢で起こった一連の事件は村ぐるみで引き起こされている可能性があるのです。
そんなことあるわけないじゃないか。
It's definitely possible, and it lines up with what we know, although it's not very pleasant to think about. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that?
証拠はありません。しかも過去の事件はここに解決し、いずれの犯人も村とは直接関係ありませんでしたしね。
じゃあどう考えたらそんな考えに至るんだよ。
毎年綿流しの日に村の旧敵が死ぬ。それだけで十分に疑えると思いませんか？
Only the residents of Inamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa.
そして次にダムを誘致した村人。そして次にダムを誘致した村人。村の旧敵は次々に開始しました。家庭はともかく結果はそうなのです。
Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off.
じゃあ次に死んだ神主やその次に死んだ主婦はどうです？別に村の敵だったわけじゃない。
神主はダム騒動当時リーダーシップを期待されながらも積極的な働きがなかったため、一部の村人から失望、反感を買っていました。
反感があったにしたって別に村に害を与えたわけじゃないだろう。その次の主婦なんかどうだよ。誘致した男の弟夫婦だったってだけの理由だろう。もっと殺される理由が薄いじゃないか。そして富武さんに至ってはどうだよ。ダム工事とは関係すらないじゃないか。ただよそ者だってだけの理由だぞ。
In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower.
それがね、怖いんですよ。徐々に希薄になっていくのが。
何がだよ。
つまり村の敵でなく、よそ者だというだけの理由で犠牲になりつつあるんですよ。
じゃあ来年の被害者は村のよそ者から選ばれるっていうのか？
Which means it could even be Keiji, or his family.
あるいは引っ越してきたばかりの人かもしれません。
それってどういう？
I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of people I passed by. Then, the next victims, my family. Was they saying it was going to be me?
でもそれとミオンとどう関係があるんだよ。
詳しくは申し上げられませんが、園崎さん一家はダム騒動時の抵抗運動の旗頭だったのです。
The fact that he says he can't go into details makes me think that there's more there. Like maybe that her father or someone related to her was actually the main suspect who's MIA right now.
それも過激なね。例えば園崎美音さんについても同様です。抵抗運動時、いくつかの軽犯罪と公務執行妨害で補導歴があります。
I knew Mion had fought. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean?
ミオンの一家が一連の事件に関係しているとでも言うのかよ。
そうまでは言いません。もしもそうだったら、一番確率が高い。それだけのことなんです。
Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know.
誰が一体どれだけ関わっているのか全くわかりません。だからこそ村人に口外してほしくないのです。
Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough.
じゃあこう考えましょう。たたりを盲信する村人の皆さんに心配させたくないから内緒。そういうことでどうです？
What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry
み
needlessly.
んなが俺に心配させないために内緒にしてくれたように、今度は俺がみんなに心配させないために内緒にする番ってことなのか。
I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. Although the fact that they were keeping it from him, I'm not so sure it was to keep him from worrying. I'm thinking it might have actually been because there is actually a conspiracy going on here. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was. But it couldn't be
わ
helped.
かりました。俺だけの秘密にします。それでいいですよね。名前。
沖宮署の大石です。なんならクラちゃんでもいいですよ。
Oishi.
あ、いや、大石さんでいいです。
The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. It was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch.
時間を取らせすぎました。お友達を待たせていますよね。もう戻った方がいいでしょう。
The door opened with a click, and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was an almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Inamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind.
お友達を疑えと言ったわけではありませんからね。誤解しないでくださいよ。
I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving.
前原さんが何も見つけず、聞きもしなかったとしても、それで十分なのです。それは村が関わっていないという証拠になるのですから。
見たり聞いたりしたら連絡しますけど、俺は探偵じゃないですからね。変な期待しないでくださいよ。
しませんしません。探偵になんかならなくていいですよ。今までのように自然に生活してください。その中で見聞きしたことを教えてくだされば結構なんです。
I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow.
またお会いしましょう。さようなら前原君。
I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomitake-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was the possibility of a village conspiracy. Worse still, that there was also a chance that Mion was involved. And Rika, don't forget that. Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomitake-san. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator.
みーちゃんだよ、犯人は。
Great timing there. Huh? was startled to hear Reina's voice.
凶器はロープで犯行現場はラウンジ。
あははははつれ
Reina clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow.
ケイチさん遅かったですわね。プンプンでございますのことよ。
ごめんごめん。ちょっと先生に職員室呼ばれてさ。
素行が悪くて怒られましたですか？かわいそかわいそです。
こっちも白熱してたしね。もういい時間だから次で最後のゲームにしよ
う。俺の今の持ち点って確か0点だろ。ビリ確定じゃないのかよ。
大丈夫だよケイチくん。
Let me guess, she has like negative points.
レナマイナス1点。
Heck, her score is even lower than mine, and I wasn't even playing.
う。罰ゲームはレナが1人でかケイちゃんと2人でかを決める最終戦。
冗談じゃねえぞ。罰ゲームはレナ1人でやってくれ。
ケイチくんと2人で勝とうって約束したのにずっと待ってたんだよ。
そりゃ俺が悪いな。
I followed my initial plan of showing Reina my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. Although, the fact that we kind of left her alone there is kind of concerning, based on that whole monologue that she gave in the last video, or the last chapter, or whatever. Like, I feel like any time where she's anxious and feeling lonely is bad, because it feels like it could potentially end up with her turning to murder.
わかったよ。犯人は私。凶器は毒物で犯行現場は玄関ホール。どうかな
Also, that seems like it might potentially describe what happened to Tomitake-san, if we consider the poison to be the case. Like, clearly there's some kind of poison that's undetectable because it wasn't detected for the priest's case. So if they just used the same one, maybe that could give the symptoms that Tomitake-san had. Although I don't know. I don't think that's... Yeah, I don't think that had... Or I think that we would know about that if the priest had the same symptoms, so probably not.
おーレナ回答早いじゃん。また当てずっぽうじゃないの？お
レナの正解ですよ。じゃあこれでケイチさんも罰ゲーム決定ですわね。やったー。ケイチくん一緒に頑張ろうね。
一緒に頑張ろうな。
It's my fault, so I have no choice.
ではゲームセット。トップは私園崎美音。ビリは前原圭一と竜宮レナ。
Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty.
じゃあ使いっ走りの系のを買ってくるものはトップの私が決めようかね。
何を買いに行かされるんだろう太郎。
薬局は禁じ手にしような。図星太郎。
は？薬屋なんかに用ないよ。おじさんが買ってほしいものはね、このメモに書いてあるから。
いっぱい書いてあるよ。
A lot. Damn it, what is she making us buy?
豆腐2丁、シャンプーとリンス、みりんに油揚げ。なんだこりゃ。
It's like all of her groceries.
あ 罰ゲームってよりお買い物に見えるでございますわね。今日のミーは勝つ気満々でしたです。
快速第7条、罰ゲームの内容に逆らわない。はい、お金。シャンプーはうち果物物語だからね、よろしく。
これお前が頼まれたお使いだろ。
I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. Well, there we go. So we've got 2 more tips there. But I think we can read those next time. Let me just see what they are first. We've got, there are more than 4 perpetrators and search notice. So we can read those next time. So until next time, take care, and I will see you then.